Welcome back to another episode of Beyond Organised. Today I have Kristina Brooks with us, and to give you a quick rundown on this lady, Kristina is a 37-year-old wife, mum, and Christian author. She was raised in rural South Carolina, where her husband and now 2 children live. She has known and loved Jesus from a young age, where her faith has deepened since becoming a mother. Her greatest desire is to point her children to him, and through the challenges of motherhood, she's found encouragement in the Bible and now shares that encouragement with others. And I'm really excited to have Kristina on today because it's not every day that we get an author on here. So welcome to the show, Kristina. So lovely to have you.
Thank you. I'm excited to be here. This is my first podcast. I'm looking forward to it.
Yay. Let's make it a good one. So I would love to hear a little bit about your story and what got you inspired into writing, and take it from there.
Well, it's one of those funny things where I could go on and on. I could start you back when I was in like the 3rd grade and I was like, I'm going to be a writer when I grow up. But I didn't follow through that path. So, I mean, it's crazy. It's a very long story, but I can definitely look back on my life and just see the way that God was setting all of this up for it to happen, when it happened and how it happened. Um,
Yeah.
One of the big aha moment for me, I was doing a Bible study with a friend. Well, it was a group Bible study. One of my friends was leading it. It was the Priscilla Shire study called Elijah. It was fantastic.
Mm.
But it was really through that study that God spoke to me. It was so amazing how it happened. At the time, I was doing some network marketing online and was doing pretty well as far as supplemental income for my family. I was staying home I just had the one child at the time, and I was, doing like a 4-figure business. And it was in this study where she was talking about God calling Elijah out into the wilderness and waiting on his assignment.
Yeah.
And it could
Yeah.
not have been any more clear. It was such a cool experience, but it was so clear to me that God was like, it's time for you to stop that. And I'm going to give you something better to do. And there was nothing wrong with what I was doing. But it was very, very clear to me through that study that God wanted me to use my gifts for him, not for self, which it wasn't.
Yeah.
I was trying to help my family. And there was nothing wrong with it. But it was very clear that God had something specific that he wanted me to do. And there was a period where I wasn't sure yet what that was. And so I was just begging God and praying, like, please just tell me what to do. If you tell me what to do, I'll do it. Give me something to do.
Yeah. Yeah.
um, and he eventually, of course, followed through with that and led me into writing a devotional for moms that specifically was a book that I wished that I had been able to have read when I was struggling through some early motherhood things. And we can get into that
Mm.
later, but that was kind of how it started for me.
Wow. Wow. Yeah, I feel like a lot of us have had that experience of just, God, just get me to do something, like make it good though too,
Yeah.
right?
Right. Exactly.
Like, I'll do whatever you want me to do, but please let it be good. And but then we start in it, right? And it's maybe not as easy as what we initially thought. Did you have any struggles along the way in writing your devotionals?
Oh, absolutely. Plenty of them. I had a toddler at the time, and gosh, he's 7 years old now.
You
So
don't need to say anymore. Toddler. Yep, got it.
right. It's so fun now to look back and, like, remember, because he's 7 and now we
Hmm.
homeschool, and so he's, always running around and doing his own thing, but I can remember putting him in his little high chair and feeding him puffs and like, "Okay, I gotta finish this, like, I'm in it, I've gotta get this out." Um, Another really big thing was feeling like I was good enough. Like, I knew that God wanted
Yeah.
me to do this. I knew that I was exactly where he wanted me to be, doing
Mm.
exactly what he wanted me to be doing, but I still felt like I wasn't qualified.
Oh my
Um
gosh. I knew that was coming. I feel like we all
Yeah.
we all go through that. Oh,
I
anyway,
know, like,
I
"God, are
knew
you
that was
sure
coming.
I'm the one to write this?" Like, I'm pretty sure somebody could do a better job. Somebody could do it faster than me, especially.
Mhm.
Just that balance between, like, being a wife, being a mom, keeping house. I stayed home with my son from the beginning, but just that balance,
Oh,
was
I
its
hear
own struggle.
you. Mm,
And then feeling like, well, if I don't do it, nobody really knows. Like, of course, God knew, but
yeah,
there was no deadline like pushing me to do it. And whenever I worked outside the home, there's always like a deadline. There's always, I
yeah.
have to get this done by whatever, or this bad thing happens. You're
Mm.
fine. And that just wasn't there. And I am not the most self motivated person to finish things. I'm great at starting things, but then I tend to like taper out. So
Yeah, dwindles off, yep.
yeah, yeah, yeah. So that motivation, I feel like, was its own thing, was that I had to keep going because I knew that God wanted me to, and I had to, like, stay on top of myself. I had to make it happen, which was really a growing experience for me, honestly.
Yeah, because no one else is gonna do it for
Right,
you.
right, I didn't have a boss, and
It is different
yeah,
stepping out on your own, and it's like, well, if I'm gonna make it and I'm gonna be successful in this, in whatever way success looks like, I'm gonna have to put in the work. And yes, I'm gonna have to see it through from start to finish, and probably multiple projects, not just the one. And
right.
you got to keep going. And so, how did you find the whole process of writing a book, juggling motherhood? Like, I know you said it's crazy. I get that, but how did you find that process, even just on your own spiritual journey? Because I'm sure there was quite the spiritual journey in there, in trusting God through the process and everything too. Like, how did you find God taking you through all of that?
It was one of my most favorite experiences ever. Like, everybody you hear people say things like the Bible is alive, and that is definitely like,
Amen.
backed up by scripture. But there were some times where it was like, okay, something happened in my life that I knew that I wanted to write about. Or, like my kid did something and I was like, "Oh, this is such a good story that, would lead into talking about this verse or whatever." But then there would be other days where I would just be faced with like a chunk of time that I knew, like, I don't know, it was like the schedule just opened up and it was like, "Okay, well, I'm gonna write, but I don't have anything to say." And so I would just pray and
Yeah.
ask God to, "What do you want me to write about today?" And it was
Mm.
so cool. I wish that I had my Bible right here. It's not, it's in the kitchen. Um, but I would just open the Bible and, like, there would be the most perfect verse, and, like, there was just
Thank
it
you,
was such
Lord.
a God thing. It was so much fun. I stand by my favorite part of writing a book is the writing, not the editing, not the proofreading, for sure not the proofreading.
Yeah,
Um,
no, nobody likes that.
um, and so just to be upfront with you, there's gonna you're I've already found a mistake or 2 in my book, and that drives me completely crazy,
Better to have it out there though, right? Than
but
to
I'm
try
not
and make it
perfect,
perfect for years and never
and
get it out.
oh, yeah, it took me years to do, and I have decided that I'm not gonna let that stress me out,
Most
because at
people
no
probably
point.
won't pick it up.
Right,
Like,
true. Well, and at no point have I claimed to be perfect, and that's one of the things that I try and really drive home on social media whenever I do post about my book, is that I am not offering advice to anyone from up here on my little pedestal. I'm not riding around on my high horse. Like, I
yeah.
have no clue what I'm doing, and my days
Yeah, not afraid to admit it.
right, and my days are just as much of a hot mess or a struggle as anybody else's with 2 kids in the house. But
Yeah,
I
I
know
hear you.
that but I know without a shadow of a doubt that I've got one thing right, and it's the only thing that matters, and it's that, like, I turn to God through all of it, and
Oh,
that's what I want to help
so
other
good.
people do, and so it's not gonna be perfect, it's not gonna be flawless, or
Yeah,
it's gonna be messy a lot of times,
that's
and
okay.
but I got the Jesus part down.
Yeah. Yep,
And
it's
so
real though. People want
right,
real.
yeah,
I feel like we're going through, I don't know if you're seeing this on your end of things, but I feel like for me, we've gone through the whole trying to make things pretty and
yeah,
perfect and polished. And we've kind of entered this season of we want real,
yeah,
especially with the growth of AI and all of that too. And I'm not against AI at all. I have a lot of fun with it, but it's more there's a level of polished fakery and all that kind of stuff out there that I think people are really craving something real that they know is real and genuine connections with people as well. And I think when you put something out there and it's not perfectly polished and it's got a mistake or something in it, but it's real, I think people are a lot more forgiving of that these
Yeah,
days, and they kind of crave it almost. I
yeah.
know I do. I I really appreciate things that are real and genuine, and I mean you see it on reels and things these days, and you can for me, I can easily spot something that's being created by AI because I'm in this
Mhm, mhm.
industry, right? But for so many people, they comment and they'll be like, "Oh, how could that happen?" And they treat it like it's a real thing because obviously it's getting portrayed like it's a real thing.
Right.
And I'm just so sick of seeing things trying to pass as the real deal and it's not. And I just feel like we're stepping into this season where a lot more people are just wanting real.
Yeah,
They're wanting real. And
definitely.
what you're doing is just heart depth real. So I think that's good.
That's what I try to show up authentically or not at all. And
Yes.
for a while, my bio on Instagram said, like, written by a mom in her bathrobe. And because all of my posts, the only time that I had time in my life to sit down and write or work on anything was in the morning when I'm drinking my coffee and the kids are eating breakfast. But then after there, our day kind of gets rolling from that point. And all of my posts on my feed, I was in my bathrobe and I was like, maybe I should be embarrassed, but I'm not.
I
It was just
I love it.
how it played out. So
I think any real person is going to just totally relate to that. I mean, I've
lots of
certainly
fun.
done a lot of my work in my tracksuit pants
Yeah.
and my hair a mess and no makeup and yeah, with a coffee and I don't know. It's just real.
Yeah.
And yeah, anyway. So going through this process of writing a book and all of that, what would you say has been probably your biggest learning point through writing a book?
Oh goodness.
Loaded question, maybe, but
Right.
I'm asking
Right.
anyway.
That question wasn't on the list.
No, it wasn't on the list. It's a bit out there, but I feel to ask it.
Um, so I'm a creative type, and my biggest learning experience was definitely the back end stuff.
Mm,
All of like, the formatting of the book, I did my formatting myself. I knew that, you can pay people to do that for you. I did all the graphic work on my own, because
wow.
one of the it was a struggle. I'm sure somebody else would have been able to do it much more efficiently, but when I felt God telling me that, like, he wanted me to stop with the network marketing and all of that, I was spending a lot of time writing posts on Facebook, and it was like, "Okay, well, if you can write," and I've always loved reading books and writing. Oh my goodness. I could just go on and on about that, but like I am just a writer at heart. And so as I was pouring all of this effort into writing Facebook posts that
Mm,
people, would find relatable. And so it was like, okay, we're going to stop writing that and we're going to start writing this. And then
yeah.
I would spend time, making fancy graphics. And it was like, okay, we're going to stop doing that and we're going to do it for a book. And
Yeah.
so it was just a very,
Very intentional. I like
very,
that.
yes, yes, yes. And I wanted God to use me. I wanted him to take what I felt like I was good at, or at least capable of doing,
Mhm.
and
Yeah.
instead of using it for anything else, just use it for him.
Yeah.
And so, but there was a lot of learning that it went into that because I was like, "Oh, well, this will be easy," and it was not easy.
Yeah, no.
Very time consuming, and I felt like I was spending so much time and energy getting on Google and say, "How do I fill in the blank?" And then I would have that, pulled up on my screen, and then I would have the book pulled up on the other half, and then I'm trying to take what Google says that I should do and then find the answer for it or find the solution or make it fit or make it work, and, you know,
Wow.
it was like, "Well, what size do you want your book to be?" And it can be any size in the whole world. So now I'm going around and I'm measuring all of the books on my bookshelf, and
It's like, what size is this book? I like this size. I don't know.
right, right, right. And then there was just a lot of back end stuff. And so I did self-publish. And oh, this is a cool
Yeah.
story. I wasn't planning on sharing this, but so I wasn't sure if I was gonna self-publish or if I was going to attempt to get a traditional book deal. And I just kept praying about it, praying about it, and praying about it. And I was on one hand a little bit afraid of rejection because from what I had researched, everybody said, well, prepare to be rejected a lot.
Mm.
And I was like, well, I don't love that. Like, that's going to feel
I can't
like
handle
really
that. I'm too
discouraging.
fragile.
That
Yeah.
doesn't sound like a good time at all. But then I was in this coffee shop one day. I was visiting my grandparents. We were in Florida, and I was in this coffee shop, and there was like a quote that they had written on the wall. And oh my goodness, I wish I could remember what it said, but it was something about like you're never going to know unless you do it, or like.
Yeah.
But it was from a Christian perspective. It was a Christian coffee shop, and I was like, I think this is my sign that I'm supposed to try and find an agent and get that book deal. And so then I went into researching, well, who is the agent? I continued to pray about it, and God was like, try one, find one and start there. And so that was what I did, and I found the perfect agent. I mean, she was everything that I needed in an agent. She was a Christian. Her specialty was books about motherhood and
Right.
families and devotions. And I mean, just
Beautiful.
so perfect.
Yeah.
There was even something on her bio that said that, she liked the quirky people. And I'm like, hello.
Yeah. Hello. Here I am.
I'm like, this is perfect. She is perfect. She is everything that I would want in an agent. And I queried her and I never heard back. And after I
Oh.
did that, and it was okay. I was surprised because I was so certain that God had led me to her, and I read countless biographies, and just the amount of research that went into that. I spent months getting my query ready for her, and I never heard back, and it was okay because it was so cool because after that happened, I felt complete peace for the first time to go ahead and self-publish. And it was
Wow.
such a God thing again that he led me through this like season of preparation and seeing how much goes into it and following through with that process. But
Mm.
then it was like, you know what? I'm going to give you the gift of self-publishing, which was what I wanted to do anyway, because I wanted
Mm.
complete creative control over all of it. And I didn't want somebody to, take my manuscript and make it look like what they imagined it would look like. I wanted it to look
Yeah.
like what I wanted, what I imagined it
Yeah.
looking
What
like.
you intended. Yep.
Right, but it was like God gave me the gift of not having to wonder if I would have done better if I had gotten a traditional book deal,
Yeah.
and that was so cool. It really was a really special thing that it was I don't have to wonder what if. I don't have to
Mm.
worry that, well, gosh, did I mishear him? Did I do the wrong thing?
Mm.
Because not all months are, high selling months, and so
Yeah.
how do I know that if I would not have attempted to find that agent and go through that process of getting a book deal, that I wouldn't be sitting around and, oh gosh, I didn't have any book sales this month. And I wonder if
Yeah.
it's me. Is it my fault? Did I not hear God correctly? Did I do something wrong? But I feel like
Mm.
He just gave me that gift of complete certainty and peace through that experience, even though it was a huge learning experience that looking back,
Yeah.
I didn't have to go through it, but because I didn't use anything that I learned.
But you're
Like,
grateful for it. I I find that really interesting because I feel like the Lord has put on my heart to write a book at some point, but not now. So I'm kind of like almost gathering the evidence and the things that I
right?
need to put in it one
Yeah,
day.
yeah,
Because
that's a
I
good start.
started writing it and I flew through it. Like I I don't know, I wrote like 4 chapters in like a day, right? I just
Yeah,
sort of
incredible,
flew
yeah,
through it and I was like, this is so good. And then I felt him say, stop. You need to stop. Like now is not the right time. I need you to continue learning things
mhm.
before we can finish this. There's stuff that needs to come in this book that you don't know yet. Like you need to
That's
stop.
cool. Yeah,
And I'm like, okay, but I kind of just want to get done because I'm the kind of person to just like, I've got
yeah,
something in my mind. Let's just get it done. Let's just do it. And also I'd had a dream back at the start of last year where I was being introduced onto a stage as an award-winning life coach, speaker, podcaster, and author.
mhm.
And I was like, okay. And at that point, I was just a life coach. And even now, I'm an award winning life coach. I'm a speaker. I'm a
Yeah,
podcaster.
Yeah.
I'm still yet to be an author, but that's okay. I still don't feel like it's anytime soon. But I love hearing your story on the whole getting a publisher, going self-publishing, because in my mind, I keep thinking, yep, self-publish, self-publish. Like that's just sort of what I want to do. But then I also hear how difficult it is to kind of really get your book anywhere other than being able to sell it privately online or through Amazon or something. Like you can't really get into the bookshops and you can't really get into the other places. How have you found this process in being able to even just sell your book when there's probably some limitations around where you can sell your book?
There definitely are limitations there. I have found that if you go to bookshops in person, they're like mom and pop bookshops,
Mm,
indie bookstores, one thing they call them here, that so far they've been very receptive to putting my book on their shelves. It's normally like a consignment situation,
mm, mhm.
which is fine. That's hard for me to do because my kids are always with me. And taking
Yeah.
2 kids in tow to a bookstore, usually we, spend more, on buying new
So
books.
I know, right? You walk out with more books than you brought in.
Right, yeah. So, taking the kids into the bookshop is a whole adventure on its own, and so I have gone to a few bookstores around me. There are more. I've tried reaching out other ways. I think going in person is much more effective, but I just try to promote online the
Mm,
most. There's TikTok Shop where you can create, like, a business profile, and then you can if you get your book uploaded into TikTok Shop, then it's easy for people to
yeah.
buy it like that.
I'm not even on TikTok anymore. I was so sick of the random men that would just message me and I'm like
Oh,
trying to
yeah.
do my thing, talking to mums, I'm getting organized. And then I was just so over it. I was like, I don't need this. I'm just sticking with Instagram, Facebook.
Right. Well, and I feel like as far as posting TikToks compared to posting Reels, that how you make it is so
Mm,
much more user friendly on TikTok than it is on Instagram. My views
mm,
are always higher on TikTok than they are on Instagram,
okay,
but
that's good.
they say I've researched this a little bit too that authors do best on Facebook, but
Yeah,
I cannot stand flipping back and forth between Facebook personal and Facebook pages, and things always get lost and
yeah.
messages don't come through like they're supposed to, and I feel like it is just the least user-friendly experience in the whole world.
Fair
Um,
enough. I don't mind Facebook. For me, I'm quite happy with Facebook and Instagram and Threads. Like little bits here and there.
yeah.
But Instagram and Facebook are kind of my main hangouts.
Right. So I try to post my videos on TikTok because I just like the video platform better, and I can link my
Yeah,
book there, to
yeah,
where it's super easy and user friendly for them to just buy now, hit that buy
right,
now button.
yeah,
And if people were buying a book for me on TikTok Shop, I can sign it. Like I send it out myself. I can't do that from
yeah,
Amazon. And Amazon
yeah,
charges a lot of overhead. But if I buy books in bulk, which is what I have done, then I get a discount. So my profits are higher if I
yeah,
sell through TikTok, but I feel like it's a win-win because then you get a signed book. Like I could
yeah,
like write your name in it and like write you a little note or like whatever.
yeah,
And almost like more of an in-person
yeah,
experience
it's more
because
special.
I'll try to do in-person events around me from time to time. It's hard with the kids. And I feel like a lot of I don't know, it's
The
just there's a lot of
ages, especially your younger one,
yeah.
it's just a very tricky age.
Right, my kids are
Mm.
7 and 2, and I feel like as a homeschool family, the 2-year-old's always getting left with grandma because it's and
Oh,
so
thank goodness for grandma, hey?
yeah,
Oh,
I mean
I'd be lost without both my mum and mother-in-law, man. Yeah.
yeah, for sure. So I feel like in-person events are people's, go-to thing. I'm just not at a phase of life where that works for me, and so I feel like through TikTok Shop, it's comparable,
Yeah,
because I can sign the book, and I like that.
yeah,
Amazon is a little bit different, but I just try to post on social media the most, and so I do Instagram stories, because I
yeah,
feel like that's just easy, and
yep,
I don't know, there's sketchy people on
me
TikTok too, and
yeah, yeah,
um,
yep,
I feel like it's not the case on Instagram. So, I like the stories on Instagram, and then they do post to Facebook, but then I like posting, like, TikToks instead of Reels. So, I
yep.
try to find balance, and then I usually get burnt out, and then I disappear for a little while, and then I'll come back and try it all again.
Yep, I've been there. I feel like my time is just better spent on other things, but I probably really should be more active on social media. But
Well, I agree
oh,
completely.
the things you got to do
Complete.
for just to try and make a sale, right?
Oh, I know, and I feel the same way because I have 2 more books that I've written them and they need to be edited to come out behind my devotional, their follow-up. Originally, it was gonna be one giant 90-day devotional, and then my
Mm,
editor suggested we break it up into 30 days, and
good
it
idea.
just I liked it, and I don't know, I prayed about it, felt like that was what we were supposed to do, so but I've got these 2 more books that need tending to, and but it's like, "Oh, but I've gotta post on TikTok today," and it's a
It takes up
constant.
so much time. I don't think people realize, and I know a lot of my audience here, they are just normal mums. And before I got into this whole online world, I only really saw the people that said it was how easy it was, and how easy it is to make this money online and all this kind of stuff. And yeah, it's easy enough when you've jumped through a whole lot of hoops and you've figured it out and you've paid $10,000 for someone to help you with it. Like,
Right,
there's so much that goes into it that it's really not as easy as you think. But I feel like even just with this whole book process or anything else, you don't even realize just how present you really kind of need to be on social media, and you have to be producing the content, not
yeah,
consuming the content.
right.
Um, and so that all takes up time. And for someone like me, I don't care enough about social media. I know it sounds terrible, but I just don't. And so to spend potentially even hours on it every day just to try and connect with people and get
Yeah,
things going with my business, it's just there's other things that I'd rather be doing. So I really shifted how it all looked at the start of the year. And I actually archived all my posts and just kept my 9 grid up there. And then I've got reels and stuff separately anyway. But it's just like if people come to my page, they get their main info, everything that they need. You can DM me. I'm there. Like I'm still active in there, but
yeah,
and I'll have stories going, but don't expect like too much more because I, I'm busy. Like I've got a business to run.
yeah,
I've also got another job on the side. I've got 4 kids. I've got enough
right,
things going on.
right, that's a
And
lot to juggle.
I think even just, yeah, whether you're writing a book, whether you're coaching, whatever it is, you just don't realize how much time behind the scenes you need to just do what it is you're trying to do at the end of the day.
Right, exactly, exactly. Like, I definitely didn't think that I would have to spend that much time finding my people. Um,
Oh, tell me
and
about it.
oh, yeah, and I know that I didn't write this book for me.
Yeah.
I know that this wasn't just some idea that I cooked up, like, it was such a God thing, and so but
Yeah.
there is a lot of time that goes into it, so you have to spend the time, creating the thing. So for you creating your podcast, for me writing my books, I have to spend that time doing like, actually doing something so that I have something to even post about, but then
Yeah.
you have to figure out how to post about it effectively and in a way that people can connect with, and, it is
Ugh,
time consuming.
it sounds exhausting. I feel like but I guess going back to staying on topic, but with this whole process, writing a book, but also doing the devotionals and just coming from the perspective of being a mum whilst doing all of this, what is something that a mum and a woman out there that's listening to this, what would you like them to know just about this whole process that you think might help them?
Well, if I were sitting down with somebody and they were just overwhelmed by motherhood, and we really
Mm,
haven't gotten that much into this, but there's such a viral, trendy thing to say, like outlook on life about being lost in motherhood. And I don't know if you see stuff about that, but there was a point where I was just bombarded with it and it
mm,
all sounded true. And it made me so unhappy and so discontent, where at first I felt like I was seen and, "Oh, these women get it." Like, but then it so easily turned into, well,
Negative.
I don't like being a stay-at-home mom, and these kids are getting on my nerves, and
Yeah.
I can't believe my husband left his shoes, I'm looking at him right there, again, and I was not joyful at all, and I was like, "But
Mm.
this is not how God wants us to feel," and,
Yeah.
it's easy to feel overwhelmed. There is another, like, thin line there between saying what is true and
Mm.
being authentic and being real and being raw about the struggles that are there. And there are
Mm.
hardships that come with being a mom, being a stay-at-home mom, being a working mom. It's different, but it's all the same. I
We
mean,
all have our something.
right, right. And but there is I think we have to be careful that we don't slip into not being grateful for
Yeah.
our greatest blessings. And
Yep. And to speak
that we're
life and speak
exactly,
that positive. Yeah, I know, it is a
exactly,
fine line, you're so right. Mm.
exactly, and it hit me, so the name of my book, I'll show it to you, is The Found Mama, and the reason that I kind of arrived at that is what you said about speaking life over ourselves, and to sit here and say, as Christians, that we have lost ourselves in motherhood. We are speaking lostness over our
Yeah.
lives,
Yep. We
and
just open
if
the door
we
for the enemy to come in and
exactly,
make that true.
exactly, and as you look through the Bible and lost is not a word that is used flippantly.
Yeah.
That is something that Jesus came to deliver
To
us from.
save.
Right. He saved
Yeah.
us from our lostness. And then we just
Yeah.
throw it around so casually. Like, I lost
Uh-huh.
myself in motherhood. My life doesn't look the way it used to. I don't do the things I used to do. I don't have time for myself. You know what? We'll fix
Mm.
it. Self care. And that's not really completely true either. So I feel like
Yeah.
we have
Yes.
to be careful with the things that we say, the things that we do, and the solutions that we seek.
Yep.
Because while, sure, a bubble bath sounds nice, I took one last night.
It's a
Um,
Band-Aid.
right, it's a
Yeah.
Band-Aid, and the root of this is that we need Jesus.
Yeah.
And if we're feeling overwhelmed by motherhood, the
Mhm.
solution is changing our perspective.
Mhm.
And you're not going, I mean, kids are gonna be kids and husbands are gonna be husbands and the
And
dishes are
and
always
we are
gonna be there.
and we're gonna have our own flaws.
Right, oh,
Yeah.
for sure. And, how many times have we done like, I've done things, it was like, "I know better than this. Why did I say
Mhm.
that? Why did I react this way?"
Yep. Yep.
Thankfully, the Lord is still working on me too. But,
Yeah. Oh,
you
yeah.
know, I
Thank
think
God
our
for that.
identity being rooted in Jesus is forever going to be the most important thing about us. It's not
Yeah.
gonna be motherhood or being lost in motherhood or
Yeah.
anything else or what our hobbies are, even though they're important and they can be fulfilling.
Yeah.
I think that our focus as a whole society is so much on self
Yeah, it's
that
very selfish.
as Christians navigating, well, what should my life look like as a mom and a wife and whatever, I feel like sometimes we get so caught up in needing something that makes us unique. Like, oh, well,
Mhm.
I'm a writer or I'm a painter, or you feel like you have to fit into a category of what type
Yeah.
of mom you are. And
Yeah.
those are fine. There's nothing wrong with any of these
No.
things, but I feel like the most important thing about us should be our relationship with Jesus and
Yeah, not our
prioritizing
title.
him. And
Mhm.
right, not who we think we are. And, my life has changed so much since becoming a mom. I'm one of the books I'm working on now, and I haven't shared about this online at all, is my entire testimony, like start to finish, like my life
Mm.
story, because there's so many ebbs and flows to and from God that whenever I've been asked to share my testimony in the past, it's usually like a specific part of it.
Yeah. You
And
kinda need the whole thing, right? To
right,
really
right,
see
right,
the magnitude of God.
right. And my past involves drugs and alcohol and just
Mm.
complete living in sin, surrender to living in sin,
Mm.
intentionally walking away from God, divorce, like terrible,
Wow.
ugly, ugly things.
Wow.
And
Mm.
knowing, and there was a time where I was, I tried to live God's way and it still brought me to a divorce. So I'm all
Yeah.
set. I'm going to try it my own way this time.
Yeah.
And this was after I had already walked away and come back. And
Mm,
instead of continuing to walk with Jesus, which was what I knew was the only solution, it was, I'm going to go back to the drugs and alcohol because they never let me down. And
mm.
even though that wasn't true either. And there's so much more. Like there's just such a big picture. And so when I say that I know what it feels like to wake up one day and feel like your life is not recognizable, like
Wow.
I know that feeling.
Wow.
My husband and I, we were married when we had our first son, but he was a complete surprise. We did not want to have children. Um,
Wow.
and that is so much part of my story as well, that I know what it feels like to be like, who am I? Like, I don't have time for myself. I don't have time for any hobbies. I used to paint a little bit. I dabbled in painting and like flipping furniture and stuff. And I had a
Oh.
whole room in our house dedicated to, my art. It's a playroom now. It's a
Yeah.
playroom. And
Yeah.
so I definitely understand how easy it is to think I've totally lost my identity and I've swapped it in for chicken nuggets and wiping noses and
Yeah.
um
Yes.
like I get it, but that
Yeah.
is not but God didn't bring me here to let me feel that way and not offer me a solution for it.
Oh, yeah. Mhm.
And I feel like that's just not a message that is out there enough.
Yeah.
Um but is that Christian take on motherhood and like how he wants our attitudes to be and how he gave us this job specifically and for our specific children
Yeah.
to glorify him, that's our life purpose. It's not
Yeah.
hobbies and feeling like I do enough self-care, and it's not about us. It's about
Yeah.
glorifying God, and we can do that through our hobbies and through our interests, but
Yeah.
we can also do that as moms who want their children to grow up to know Jesus.
Mm,
And I feel
mhm.
like that's just so much more important than anything else that you
Yeah.
see on social media trying to get you to like latch on
Yeah.
to. People post a lot of
Definitely.
things. I think people post a lot of things in the name of relatability, but
Yeah.
it's
It's
not
not
always helpful.
necessarily helpful.
Yeah.
Yeah, it could be taking them down the wrong path, though. Yeah, I hear you on all of that, and thank you for sharing some of your testimony even now, because I know that that's not always easy to do, especially when it's humbling at times, but
Yeah.
you're certainly not alone in it. Look, we all have a past up until this point, right? Like, we've all gone through things we think maybe we could have made better choices on or whatever
Right.
else, but the truth is we're here, and I certainly wouldn't change any of the things that have happened to me or choices that I made or anything like that, because truth is I like who I am today,
Yeah.
and I like where God is taking me and taking my family. And yeah, it was certainly bumpy, but I wouldn't change it. And I don't know if you feel the same, but
I
I am
absolutely feel the same way.
it's amazing what God can do, because I was saying this in a previous podcast episode that you can't fail when God is in it, when God is part of your life, when He's part of your calling, when He's part of your children, whatever it is. Like, you can't fail. You just can't go wrong because He's in it. So it's always an opportunity. You'll always have it as an opportunity to learn, to grow, to, teach us something.
Yeah.
But there's no such thing as failing. I feel like we could keep talking about a lot of things. Oh my gosh, time just disappears so
Oh
quickly.
yeah.
If people wanted to get in touch with you, wanted to buy your book, all of that, where is the best place to find you?
Well, I'm everywhere sometimes. My
TikTok,
page is there, even
TikTok
if I'm
shop.
not right. But I'm on TikTok, it's at author Kristina Brooks. It's Christina with a K. And that handle is everywhere. It's the same on
Yep.
Instagram and Facebook and TikTok. And my books are on Amazon. And I also have a website. It's www.authorchristinabrooks.com. It's in the
Yep.
middle of getting
An
redone. But
upgrade.
yes, yes. But I try to I try to show up on social media. I want to connect with people. But this sounds silly, but like I'm not a famous person. Again, all these thin lines we're talking about, I feel like it just keeps coming up. But there are a lot of books that I've read by very famous authors who I have gleaned from and who I respect. But that's not how I'm showing up. That's not the
Mm.
type of person that I am. I'm the like independent author showing up in her bathrobe and,
Yeah. Just connecting.
like, right, just connecting with people and that was one thing that I really wanted my book to feel like, and I was so excited when some reviews started rolling in from people who had read my book that they were like, "It feels like you're having coffee with your best friend," or "It feels
Oh,
like you're
I love
just
that.
sitting in," they're sitting in my living room and we're just talking about, like, motherhood. That was just one thing that I really wanted for my book, and that's one thing that I
Mm.
try to
And you
do through
achieved it.
social media. This book was not written from the perspective of somebody who has it all figured out. I certainly don't. Every single devotion is it has a Bible verse or a passage of scripture, and it's like things that God has shown me.
Mm.
It's lessons that I've learned or application that he's like opened my eyes to, things like that. And so I don't know, that's how I try to show up on social media as someone that like you would want to be friends with, someone that you could be friends with, because
Yeah.
that's how I want my book to come across. And I just it's just real life. And
Yep.
I'm not
Which is
polished and
perfect. That is perfect in itself, in my opinion. I think
well,
that's
thank
really
you.
good. Well, I'll make sure that all the details are in the show notes to make
Okay.
it nice and easy for everyone listening. But I just want to thank you for taking your time out today to speak with me, for coming on to Beyond Organized as your first podcast. Thank you very much.
Thank you for
But
having me.
it was an absolute pleasure having you on, and I feel like we could have talked for a few more hours, but again,
So
let's
much.
give people a break that are listening, and I can always have you back another time, so that's
Oh,
fine.
I would love to come back. This was so
Lovely.
much fun. And
Yeah,
it was
good.
I do have to say it was funny. I told my husband the name of the podcast that I was going to be on, and when I told him it was Beyond Organized, he laughed, and I laughed, and we all laughed because I am so not organized. But I I feel like, and I should have mentioned this somewhere, but anyway, I feel like when it comes to spending that time with Jesus, we have to be somewhat organized, and that's where I shine. That's my
Yeah,
shining moment, is like we have to prioritize, and I'm like organization is all about that. I'm just not good at it
yeah,
in other areas of my life. But if we prioritize spending our time with God, you schedule it into your life, and
mm,
you like that's the whole point.
yep, and that
And
doesn't really need to be more than that. Like,
yeah,
so a big part of this podcast, but also what I do in my business, She's Organized, even though organizing is like, it's just the starting point, but it's certainly not the end point. Like, it helps us to be able to have the time for the things that are more important, like our
right,
relationships and all that kind of stuff. But even then, I'm not the whole pretty canisters in the kitchen kind of thing.
yeah,
I'm totally downright just whatever simplifies everything, just makes it so easy so I can get on with the things that are more important. And that's the
right,
whole point of Beyond Organized. You know, we have a little bit of order in our life, but it's just so we can get on to the things that are more important in life, like spending time with friends, family, connecting with God, all these kind of things. It's just part of that enablement to make that happen, the things that are really important at the end of the day. So
definitely.
you certainly don't have to be an organized person to be on here or listening. Totally fine. All are welcome. But thank you again. I really appreciated having you on today.
Thank you. Thank you so much for having me. This was so much fun. You were right. This was so much
Yep, always is.
fun.